Alright, so what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another insane story. So before the story starts, I just want to say that no one should be doing this, okay? I'm gonna be honest here. I do say this a lot in my videos, but no one should actually get caught doing this. Because I'm gonna be honest, it's straight up cringe, and if you guys did see the title of the video, you guys would know what I'm talking about. Anyways, this story takes place back when I was in high school. Funny enough, this was actually my grade 11 year, and I remember basically one thing that was getting really popular was VR. So if you guys don't know what VR is, basically there's like this VR headset, HTC Vive, or Oculus Rift, or even the PlayStation has a VR, and there's so many different types of VR. But basically, I remember one time I really wanted to try this VR thing because it was getting really popular. But I remember when I wanted to go buy one for myself, it was almost the same price as a console. Like seriously, you expect me to pay over like $500 for a headset that you can barely play all the games that you want on? Because reminder, there weren't that many games out for the VR headset yet. But yet, you want me to buy a headset compared to an actual console that can play with all the games I want? I don't know. It seems really silly to buy one, but I remember one of my friends ended up having one, and obviously, if you guys don't know, I had a rich friend back then when I was in high school, and literally anything he wanted, he would get. So I remember I decided to borrow his VR headset, said, yo, bro, I'm just curious, man, like, can I like borrow your headset for like just VR? I just want to try it out and see if it's worth it, you know? And I remember he looked at me, he's like, oh yeah, man, like I barely use it, but like I'm down, sure, why not? So he ended up dabbing me up, and afterwards he passed me it, and I ended up taking it home. I remember when I took it home, there were so many cables that went with it, and it was just super weird because there weren't the wireless ones that there is now. So I remember I ended up putting it on, and I basically got it all set up, and I started looking at games. There's a lot of cool games to go with it. Like I think there was a Batman one, there was like a horror game one, there's even like a lot of different types of VR games. Don't get me wrong though, compared to actually having crazy 4K graphics, having it in like, you know, right up close to your face is really weird. But I remember I was going through games and stuff, and I got really bored instantly. So I remember me being bored, I kind of just ended up putting the VR headset down and basically just not playing it. I ended up going back to playing Call of Duty with the boys, and it just became that way. But then I remember when I was playing Call of Duty with the boys, I was talking to them about how this VR thing is really dumb. But then I remember one of my friends ended up saying, yo, there's this game that like everyone's playing, you should try it. It's called like VR chat, I think. And I was super confused. So I remember I ended up, you know, searching it up, seeing what this thing was. And when I searched it up, I remember seeing it was actually like a pretty cool game. A lot of like the big creators started playing it, and you know, it became like a game that was really weird and had really mixed reviews. But knowing me, I just really wanted to check this out and see what was going on. So I remember I ended up going into this thing and basically putting on the headset and trying it out. When I first tried it, it was actually pretty neat. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty, you know, adventurous. You get to go around, you get to, you know, choose a character or any type of skin. It was pretty neat. I'll give you that. But I'm not gonna lie. Those lobbies are straight up weird, bro. Like, I can't lie when I say this, and this is no joke, but like, there are people in VR chat, I don't think that's ever even done the Devil's Tango. And like, I'm gonna say this now, I don't know if VR chat is considered a kid's game, but if my kid was hopping on that thing, I would not. Because I remember there were people going around saying racial slurs and just going all out crazy. Like one guy literally just walked up to me with like a weird like red miniature Sonic character, and he just straight up said the N-word to me and walked away. And there was one with like a really weird disabled Mickey Mouse character that just walked up to me, and he's like saying how he had a son and stuff. I don't know, it made no sense to me. So I remember, you know, me as I was like playing this game, I thought it was really dumb. So I went back to playing Call of Duty once again and said, guys, that's the dumbest thing I've ever played. But then I remember one of my other buddies ended up having a VR headset, and he said that he'll help me go through VR chat and kind of have like a good time with him, because apparently it's better to play VR chat with other people. So I remember me and him, we ended up putting the headsets on, and we got ready, and we talked through Discord, and we started playing. When we were playing, I remember we went up to like different rooms and stuff. We went to like a bunch of different lobbies basically, and I remember this one moment where me and my friend were kind of like in this bar kind of like map. It was kind of cool because a lot of people were just hanging out. There was like a cool like way to like go on stage and talk to yourself or talk to people. Actually, I don't know, it was like a weird comedy thing that you could do. I don't know, it was pretty weird how people literally do all the things they want to be and make their character in this, you know, weird like Matrix world, when we have the real world out here where you can literally go do the Devil's Tango and actually feel it in every part of your body. Like until they make like, you know, a full-on bodysuit that can literally make your eggplant feel all the amazing emotions, then there's no point, because I'm not gonna get bricked from an anime character. Like what, who am I? Anyway, sorry, going on with the story though, I remember basically I was kind of just chilling, looking around and hanging out with him, and basically when we went into this cool lobby, we ended up going up to some girls. Now the thing that's scary is that talking to girls online is one of the most weirdest things ever. Like don't get me wrong, I have a girlfriend that's literally from Fortnite. Like literally, like if you guys haven't seen the Bubba channel, go check it out. But I literally have a Fortnite girlfriend, and the chances of that actually happening where she ends up actually being a girl is really rare. Like I'm not joking, there's a lot of people online that could fake who they are, and that's why you really got to be careful on the internet, because you never know who you're gonna run into. Like who knows, literally the FBI could be tracking what you're doing in VR chat. I mean, I hopefully not in this story, because if they were, then yeah. Anyway, sorry, going on with the story though, I remember as me and my friend were going around the lobby, we were talking to talking to these two girls, and these girls were like, oh my god, like, what is your names? And they had like these weird anime character looking ones. But I mean, the only reason I actually walked up to them in the first place, and my friend did as well, was because their cherries would move up and down when they were moving around in the map. So it was kind of like entertaining in a way. I don't know. I'm just being myself back when I was in high school. But going on, I remember we walked up to them and we're like, oh, like, what's going on? We're just chilling, you know, we're just cruising around VR chat. And then they're like, oh, is it like your first time here? Oh my goodness, like, you look really cute. I guess, yeah, is what I told them. And then out of nowhere, I remember basically these girls were just asking about our lives and stuff, and I had no idea if I'm supposed to impersonate the character I was supposed to be, like in GTA roleplay, or you straight up just actually tell them about your life. So I literally just ended up saying how I was a computer scientist and I was bored as hell in life, and I just decided to hop on VR chat. Yes, I literally pretended to be something I'm not in VR chat. Kind of weird, but I mean, it is what it is. Because, you know, like I said earlier, anyone could be anyone on the internet. So anyways, I remember basically I was talking to them, you know, they were talking to me, and one thing led to another. I don't know where my friend got this idea, but he said, yo, Bubba, take them to like the back rooms. Now, when he said the back rooms, I'm not saying the back rooms like in that horror game that everyone's playing. I mean, the back rooms, like there was like a back area where like there was like private rooms that you would take people into. And I had no idea what you would do in there. Like I thought it was just because since there's proximity chat, it's like a more of a private place to talk to people. But it ended up being when me and this girl ended up going back there, literally out of nowhere, this girl changes her skin to a character that has nothing on. Like she was literally cherries out, booty cheeks out, like everything's out, bro. And I remember I'm just looking at her like, is this supposed to be in the game? Afterwards, she ended up telling me, oh, just sit down, Bubba. And I ended up sitting down on this like fake chair. And in reality, I was sitting in my office chair, but basically she told me to sit down. So I did what I had to do. So I thought it was just all part of the game, I guess. And let's just say she ended up doing a dance, a lap dance. Yeah. You know, it sounds weird to say it on the internet. Don't get me wrong, but it is what it is. So I remember as she was doing this, I'm just kind of sitting there with my eyes like towards the VR headset, just kind of like weirded out thinking, this is a kid's game? Because I don't know, like there you could be Mario, you could be Sonic, you could be like characters. I don't know. Like the last time I saw anything with VR was when like, you know, Vanoss Gaming was really into this thing. But as I kept watching, I remember I basically looked around and I'm just thinking to myself, this probably looks really bad, but it is what it is. And don't get me wrong, I didn't get bricked nothing to a certain extent. It only got bricked because she was dirty talking. And then afterwards, that's when I was like, you know what? Might as well enjoy the moment. So I ended up whipping out my eggplant IRL, and I ended up doing the devil's beating to my eggplant. And yeah, I was in there for like 25 minutes doing that. And I don't know how this girl on the other end ended up just keep doing her thing, because she was just doing it, dude. Like I have no idea how she kept standing up. But then after a while, I remember I hear like my footsteps of my like stairs that lead to my room happen. And basically I remember like I heard them for a second. I didn't hear them after, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I kept going at it. And then yeah, I ended up hearing my mom say, Bubba, what are you doing? I ended up looking at her, and she looks at me as I take off the headset, and I just hear like in my headset the girl going, you like that, daddy? Mom, what are you doing here? Is what I told her. And she looks at me and she's like, Bubba, what is this? Who is this? It's a game. What are you doing in the game? And I'm like, Mom, listen, like it's all part of the game. And then she tells me, she's like, you literally do this with that GTA and now you're doing it with this? Mom, you gotta understand, it's not the same. And then my mom ends up taking my VR headset, or my friends I should say, and basically said that I'm not allowed to play it anymore. So I got really upset with her, and I remember I basically like, you know, me and her, we argued about it, and my dad got involved, and he said that, you know, I shouldn't beat my meat to VR games. And you know what, it became a whole scenario. But honestly, I mean, it wouldn't be my first time my mom walked in on me doing that kind of thing, because, you know, my mom walked into a lot of things in my life. Like I think all moms do that. And long story short, I basically had to tell my friend to pick up his VR headset for my parents instead of me. Kind of embarrassing, but you know what, that's kind of my life anyway. Anyways guys, that is basically it for today's story. Make sure to do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and like I always say, follow for more embarrassing but crazy stories. Peace out, guys.